Hello, welcome. My name is Stefan Fried. I'm product manager at Benagenda, responsible for our product called OfficeExpert. And today I will talk about how end-user experience matters for Skype for Business conferences. And I will give you a good overview about a real customer case which we faced. And yeah, let's start with the brief agenda. It's very short, as you can see. So talking about the customer case scenario, followed by the output which we have delivered, and finally to the customer. So scenario. So we were involved in the customer case where the customer had a size of 150,000 people working in the automotive industry, so a very large customer. And it's a German-based company in head office and has globally spread locations on all continents, basically. And the customer approached us with the question, what kind of things we can deliver to them when it comes to Skype for Business conferences. So the customer had the requirement to measure on a continuous basis the Skype for Business conference experience for end users. So how long it takes for creating a conference, how long it takes for end users to join conferences. So he wanted to have a kind of measuring for that. Important also the continuous basis, so ongoing continuous measurements, so every 10 minutes make sure what is the quality of my Skype for Business conference. Another one, that he can perform those kind of simulation from different kind of geographic locations. So for instance, like in his case, they have branches in Japan, in Australia, Germany, etc. So creating Skype for Business conferences and to measure the time, how long it takes for a user joining from Japan into a Skype for Business conference moderated by a German moderator was, for instance, one of the other situations. What we had as a clear requirement was, or mandatory requirement was also that all the simulations had to be performed on a Lync client, so on the Skype for Business client. So the UCWA was not only the option, so we had to deal with the Lync client. As we all know, the Lync client is a pretty old client, basically from an API point of view. So therefore, this was one of the main challenges in our side. And last but not least, reporting and alerting capabilities. So customer wanted to get alerted, proactively notified whenever certain thresholds have exceeded in certain situations. So this was the scenario basically, and what we have delivered was basically something which we added into our product called OfficeExpert. And what you see here is just an overview what we do basically with the simulation. So in our case, or in that simple example, we have 3 simulation bots. So the customer deployed 3 simulation bots across different locations. The first one is acting as a moderator. He's starting to authenticate via the Lync client. He's doing some other activities, and then he is initiating a conference create session. And during the conference create session, he is starting to invite other participants, so other simulation bots which are available in my environment. You can build as many, or you can add as many participants in that case, but that's just a picture with 3 participants in the conference. So what we measured then finally is how long it takes for each of those participants to join the conference. So is it quick for a user coming from APAC, or is it very slow for users coming from Latin America, as an example. Whenever they are joined into the conference simulation, then we are doing some other instant messaging, round-trip simulation steps, and then finally we are logging out and we are ending the simulation process. So this is the rough overview when it comes to the simulation approach itself. To map it just on a very theoretical picture, you can imagine something like this, that you have individual bots out there doing their own conference simulations, and the output, what they deliver over the simulations, are different kind of measurements results. So for instance, for a conference between the London and the Frankfurt bot, it's pretty quick, 1 second for joining a conference, but for a customer or for a user coming from APAC, it takes 8 seconds, so it takes ages more. So this is just a very broad theoretical overview of what kind of data you can then finally expect. And if we map this into what we deliver with OfficeExpert, is finally, or not only finally, it's also as a Power BI template where you can consume all these measurement reports into a dashboard. And basically what you see here is on the time axis a time series for conference create time. So you see some peak events for different kind of simulation bots. So up to 20 seconds, for instance, in end of July, followed by the join time for each of the individual participant bots. So you get a clear big picture. Is the creation of the conference quick or slow? And is the join time also for other participants coming from geographical locations also slow, quick, whatever? And last but not least, also the instant messaging stuff. So based on this report, the customer gets a clear overview about my end user experience, because we are doing exactly the same step like an ordinary user does with the Skype for Business client, but we're doing this on a continuous basis. So we know exactly, okay, at that particular point in time, there was definitely something wrong in my environment. I do not see it here if it was the network layer or the firewall or the internet service provider, but you get some sort of idea. And this is really valuable for the customer, because the customer has internal SLA reporting, so they have to guarantee somehow what is the service quality inside of my organization across different departments or different geographic locations. So this is one output out of this OfficeExpert solution. We deliver also other simulation steps. So Skype for Business is only one segment, but we do exactly the same stuff for Outlook client, for OneDrive, for SharePoint even. So different kind of end-to-end experience simulations we perform against Office 365. And in case you have a Skype for Business on-prem installation, then this even works for an on-prem installation as well. So that's it for my quick presentation, basically. So if you have any further question, just stop at our booth. Or
maybe not. How about audio and video?
Audio and video is currently excluded, because we are doing, or we are planning to do also this same stuff for Microsoft Teams. But then audio and video will be part of this whole stuff. But for Skype for Business, we said that we will not include that because of, the reason. Because of Microsoft Teams is the...
And then both will start video and audio as well.
Right, correct. Yeah, if there are any questions, come stop by at our booth, and thank you.